Ladies and gentlemen, this is Big Ray's Wrestling Show. If you don't know me, I am the Mark of the Masters, the man with the plan. Big Ray here to stay to talk some TNA Slammiversary 12 today, and I am joined by my Can-Am brother from the north, my Canadian Compadre, my tag team brother, Mr. Andre Corbeil. Andre, thanks for joining us here at OneWrestling.com.
Thanks for having me on, Ray.
All right, so this is TNA's biggest pay-per-view of the year. A lot of stuff happening, a lot of things that I didn't expect to happen happened regarding certain finishes in the match. We'll get into that. Andre, are you ready to discuss Slammiversary 12?
Happy anniversary, TNA. First off, Ray, great Arlington crowd tonight.
Oh, yeah.
They were very vocal, very interactive, and very loud. So, yeah, they just added to another layer to this anniversary celebration. Like you said, the 12th year of Total Nonstop Action Wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, Total Nonstop Action, which should have been out of business about 10 years ago if it was up to the TNA haters. But
The little engine that could and would and is. And that's just the bottom line because someone else said so.
it could be Stone Cold. Maybe it was Shark Boy, but anyway.
Either or.
We're gonna
They
quickly.
both like each other in real life anyway.
Yeah, I know. I've heard actually positive things. We're going to jump right into this, and we actually start off Slammiversary, and we have Kenny King basically complaining to MVP, and MVP's basically putting blame on Dixie Carter, and it goes back and forth. What are your feelings about the opening segment?
Well, Dixie Carter's been missing in action over the last week on Total Nonstop Action programming, and the word was that she was in Dallas in a meeting with the board of directors, yes, pertaining and relating to Bully Ray and MVP, two out-of-control people that are on the other side of the spectrum on how she sees things. So, obviously, she got the job done, and the board of directors, they clamped down on MVP and told him, hey, you have to play fair tonight, and you can't do anything. So that's what this money, power, respect segment was all about. MVP letting his boys know that, hey, I can't help you tonight.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, Kenny King wanted to make sure that MVP had his back tonight, but I'm sure MVP would devise something down the road. But we'll get into that again later on. But let's jump into what I thought was actually a really exciting, really well played or well done xdivision title match.
Opener, yeah.
Very good opener. It's always good. We've said this 1,000 times. In my personal opinion, I love the fact that when TNA starts the show off with an xdivision match, gets kind of the blood pumping, gets everything going. We had Sanada, the xdivision champion. He's actually held that title for some time now versus Tigre Uno. Who else? Manik, Crazy Steve, Eddie Edwards, and Davey Richards. And I must point out before we get into the match, Crazy Steve did come down the ramp on a mini bike. Andre?
Did you see the little mini clown?
Yes, I did.
I was like, please don't go there. Please don't go there.
All right, so basically, you want to break down the match for us really quickly, my friend?
All right, well, there were a lot of spots. There was some really innovative stuff here. There was a ladder spot that I hadn't seen in quite some time. I believe it was Slammiversary a bunch of years ago where
Right.
I saw the spot. The ladder was folded open, and a secondary ladder was put in on the secondary rope and
Right.
one of the lower rungs of the ladder, creating a bridge. And
Right.
you just knew it was going to happen. Something was going to happen on that spot, and we got it. And like you said, Crazy Steve, he came out, and I think he impressed me tonight. I wasn't expecting much from him, although I did predict him winning. I figured it'd be a cheesy win. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, I mean, the way the match ended, it was a flip power bomb off that setup ladder, which led to an opening for Sanada to come basically out of nowhere to run up the ladder and actually take the xdivision title down. And I didn't think Sanada would win this match. Andre, what do
Either
you?
did I.
What?
I thought Wrestle One had been calling.
Right.
Go ahead.
No,
finish
no,
what
no,
you
no,
were
no, no. Say what you're gonna say, because that's exactly what I
So-
think.
Samoa Joe, Rob Terry, they've all finished up for the Great Muda's promotion. So I'm kind of thinking what's going to happen in New York there next week when you get to go to TNA Wrestling. I do believe that this is Papa coming to get his protege and bringing him back home. So maybe not. The outcome of the match, Sanada retaining was a good thing. He's really made a fan out of me, Ray.
Yeah.
And I know you like the guy as well.
Yes,
And
I do.
this guy can't even talk English, and he still resonates. So,
Yeah, I mean,
thumbs up.
I always said that if Sanada spoke any type of English. Even if he spoke Yoshitatsu English, it would be actually really good. I think he'd be even more over than what he is. But his in-ring abilities actually kind of compensate for the lack of speaking English.
Absolutely.
Excellent,
And
excellent.
the excitement that he you could see it all over him. He's happy to be there.
Oh
He's
yeah.
excited about the spot that he's
Mhm.
in. You can see it in his eyes. You can see it in his effort
Oh yeah.
and his work ethic. And how can you not like someone like that? So no complaints here from Andre Corbeil, even though it was wrong for Sanada going over and staying the
Well,
TNA Xdivision champion.
now we're gonna quickly move on. We had another MVP segment with Kenny King, Bobby Lashley, and basically MVP comes out and he tells the fans, "Look, I should have been in the hospital, but I came out for you guys." You know, he's trying to draw some applause from the fans. Actually, what he did is got some heat, and then he basically announced that the winners of I believe the Lashley Joe match and the King Aries match would face Eric Young in a three-way in the main event, and he also basically, and Kenny King also called out the Tony Romo, the Cowboys, Dallas Cowboys quarterback, which I don't care about because I'm a Giants fan, so that was
Well,
fine.
you must have loved what we're going to get to after pertaining and relating to the cowboy. But I digress, Ray.
But anyway, we have Bobby Lashley versus Samoa Joe in this next match, and really quickly, I just want to give my quick opinion of this match. It was a very physical match, and I enjoy match. I personally enjoy matches like that. It's kind of old school. Why don't you give us a quick rundown of the match, my friend?
Bobby Roode has been booked and is a damn beast. Can I say that on OneWrestling.com?
Absolutely.
I won't go any further than that. But yeah, Bobby Lashley quickly making a fan out of me. A believable fan,
Oh, yeah.
incredible move set. I think his spear is as good as Goldberg's, Ray. I've
Mm.
been watching over the last 2 weeks.
What's believable? I mean, this guy is 250 something pounds of pure muscle. I mean, he was legit martial artist. I mean, the guy was a legit wrestler.
Incredible.
Very strong. Now, listen, during the end of this match, we had Bobby Lashley who basically tried to slingshot Joe into the referee, but Joe actually stopped himself. And not hurting the referee, he turns around and runs into that spear. Bobby Lashley actually going over Samoa Joe, which I actually thought it would happen. I thought Bobby Lashley would definitely be in this title match. We had discussed this on and off. You have any opinions on that?
Well, in my prediction video, I made the bold move and predicted the final wrestlers combatants that would take place in the steel cage three-way main event match. And Ray, I actually was 100% right on that. I didn't think I would be, but I was. Bobby Lashley, I think the sky's the limit.
Mhm.
Uh, Kenny King, well, I'll wait till we get to the Kenny King portion
Sure.
before I give you my opinion on
Sure.
him.
Okay.
But I'm liking Money, Power, Respect. I think it was a darn shame that MVP wasn't able to fulfill his obligated duties in Total Nonstop Action Wrestling. And that brings it up, Ray. I'm going to ask your opinion on it.
Okay.
And I kind of know where you're going to go, but this is the pros and cons of taping so many shows prior to your big events.
Absolutely. Well, my opinion is that I don't think wrestling can be taped anymore. Maybe in the early 90s, the 80s, so on and so forth. But now with the internet, now with trolls, now with people that are just basically haters and they'll go out there and I mean, listen. You know, WCW did it to WWF. That's why they had to go live. You know, if you remember, I
It
forgot.
was every second week. Yeah,
Right,
correct.
right.
Always taped every second
Yeah,
week.
and they would call the finish of every single match, you know, which kind of backfired in their face when
The
Mick
one
Foley won
time
a
it
title,
did.
right?
The, one-
And
the rest of the time it did work in WCW's favor, but yeah, it's
okay.
presented as it is.
But definitely, I think it is a detriment to have these guys TNA tape the shows, and I do feel that they should work something out to go live every time. But
Going
anyway,
live is expensive though, Ray,
it's
and when you weigh the pros and cons of taping,
mhm.
the pros are is that it's a lot cheaper, it's a lot more cost effective, and I think that has actually helped TNA. And if everything goes good in New York City,
Can't wait.
uh,
Yeah, wait.
Yeah,
Let
more
me tell you.
shows.
Let me tell you something. The Arlington crowd was great, but I can't wait to see what the New York crowd's going to do over there. And New York is one of the best venues for professional wrestling. I don't care what anybody says. I've been to house shows, and they are on fire for WWE. And I've been to some local independent shows in New York, and I'm telling you, man, you got some fans that love their wrestling. So,
Yes,
um,
some that are politically correct and not politically
oh,
correct.
absolutely.
We'll see come New York City in the
We we
Grand
sh
Ballroom.
we shall. I'll be there with the Big
Bill
Show, Bill
Scott.
Skyler, and actually my brother Jonathan, who we've done a lot of videos together here at OneWrestling.com. But anyway, we're gonna move on. We had Jeremy Borash, and he had a quick interview with. I'm sorry.
Are you going to bring the NWA title for Bill to represent?
I'm bringing both titles. I might actually wear the TNA one around my waist and carry the NWA title on my shoulder. So
Do it like Hernandez used to around the neck.
I might.
Yeah, your chain looks like it'd be strong enough to
I might
hold it for
just,
a little bit.
yeah, this is legit gold, brother. But anyway, we're gonna move on. Jeremy Borash actually had an interview in the Skybox with Dixie Carter. He asked Dixie regarding, the meeting with the board, but Dixie didn't really reveal anything. Any reason? Do you have any kind of ideas on why Dixie or what Dixie may be up to?
Yes, it makes me think of one thing before the days of television when Americans used to huddle around their radio and listen to stories. And why did they tune in and listen to these stories, Ray? Ha ha, suspense. Keeping
Okay.
the fans in suspense mode. And Dixie Carter, people can say a lot about her, but when it comes to that, she's got it in spades. She's
Yeah.
got that down to a science.
I
So.
agree. So we're gonna jump into another match, which I honestly wasn't a huge fan of this match. Maybe you have a different opinion on it. It was Willow versus Magnus. I thought it was number one. The first thing I didn't enjoy was the fact that I didn't like the fact that Willow took so long to get to the damn ring. Kind of ran around the ring, fell on the floor, all this other stuff. I mean, I understand that's part of his character, but I want to see more wrestling, and especially during a pay-per-view, and less theatrics. But again, I understand why he did it. It's part of his character. I just wish he would have
And
cut it down.
and on the marketing tip, Ray,
Oh,
he's
right.
got to appease his fans. He's the biggest seller
Well, I mean,
in
it
TNA
it
wrestling.
was
So
basically your average Jeff Hardy match, which isn't a bad thing. It was actually a good thing. I mean, he ended up hitting two Twist of Fates during this match, and
mhm.
Magnus looked really strong kicking out. Do you have any opinions on this?
Well, this is a 180 ever since Bram migrated from a former company into TNA. Well, not migrated, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Magnus is going to be very strong, very cunning, very vicious, and very dominating after that epic failed TNA World Heavyweight Championship run that he had. And I think this is the only route that TNA can do properly or to go to actually fix and, you know,
I
repolish
feel
the
you.
Magnus.
Well, listen, man. We had Bram outside. He went to grab Mr. Turnbuckle, but of course, the Monster Abyss grabbing Janice. And when it comes to a turnbuckle and a giant 2x4 full of spikes, I think Abyss had the upper hand.
You
But
betcha.
it basically led to Magnus. Or Willow being relatively distracted, and Magnus hitting the finisher. I can't remember the name of his finisher, but
Just long enough.
yeah,
Just
yep,
long
just long enough, and Magnus hits the finisher. And again, I wasn't a big fan of this match. I thought it was okay. I like the fact that again they're taking some of their homegrown talent in Magnus and making him look really, really strong. Taking two finishers again from Willow, but he's able to hit his finisher whether Willow was distracted or not. Magnus hits one finisher, takes out Willow, aka Jeff Hardy. So really, really good. Now I want to get into a segment.
But before you roll on, and
Hmm.
furthermore,
Hmm.
I knew Willow Jeff Hardy was gonna put Magnus over here.
Yeah. What he's doing, he's doing what what's. Oh God, I'm not gonna use that term, but he's doing what's good for the company.
Hey, being a team player,
Yeah,
because there's no I in team, right? Right.
absolutely, I agree.
And
Now,
and just
go-
one thing quickly,
mhm.
were you a little confused after Thursday night on whether this was going to stay a one-on-one match with Magnus and Willow, or if the Abyss and if Bram was going to get involved and have it a tag team match? I was kind of confused rolling into the pay-per-view.
Well, unfortunately, I didn't have time. We didn't have time to do a prediction show because we did have a
I
fantastic
did on my
guest.
network.
Well, I didn't. Well, we didn't together, but we did have a fantastic guest on. You want to tell the fans really quickly about the guest we had on this week?
A very fun guess. a very, very cunning, or what did I say throughout the show? Sinister,
Sinister.
sinister manager, Mr. Timmy Danger. Very colorful, very charismatic, and very entertaining. It was fun to pick his mind,
Oh,
Ray.
he was so much
Hey,
fun. Real cool.
our show ran long, so
Real cool dude. OVW manager. You can follow him on Twitter at Timmy Danger, and don't forget to follow us, of course, at Big Ray's show. That be me and Andre underscore Corbeil. Follow our other show that we have at Can-Am Wrestling. And don't forget to follow us here at One Wrestling, and of course, the Legend Bill After at After One Wrestling. Now, I want to jump into Kurt Angle introducing the next TNA Hall of Fame induction inductees, excuse me. And I got to tell you something, man. This segment, I believe, was very, very well done.
special.
Special. And
Yeah.
why don't you give your opinion on it, and then I'll give my opinion on it, and then we'll just move on from there.
Well, before we get into this year's two inductees, Kurt Angle, last year's inductee. We all know Sting was the first, but that's another story.
Right.
You could see the emotion in his face while he was announcing the induction process, and it made me even more prouder as a fan of wrestling, as a fan of historic wrestling and lineage. So I thought that was a great little touch. Thank you, Kurt. And yeah, Devon and Bully Ray. Oh,
Devon,
my
Bully Ray.
brother.
Testify.
Well deserving, too.
Now, I gotta say, I thought both members, Bully Ray and Devon, looked extremely emotional and touched to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. And you can say what you want to say about, oh, the TNA Hall of Fame. What do you mean? They've only been around for 12 years. Well, you know what? You know, when you're honored by your peers, in any fashion, you know, when it was Father's Day, and you know, when you get that gift from your child or your wife or your mom or your dad or whoever, you know, it's not a big thing, but it means something to you. And I think that this you know, Hall of Fame induction, and it's going to grow over the next couple of years, hopefully, if TNA can stay on top or stay afloat, which I do believe they will. A lot of people don't.
With the amount of networks they have
Yeah,
on networks around the
sure.
world, Spike ain't the only show in town. So
No,
people, it's a
exactly.
sky is falling scenario. It's not a sky is falling scenario.
No.
But okay,
Mhm.
go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say that I just think that Team 3D genuinely, and you could see it in Devon, especially Devon, who had been in the ring in some time.
I was happy to be
He was
back.
he was mouthing off thank you to the fans, you know, I love you, so on and so forth. So it was really cool to see them. Hopefully a return for them. I would love to see them in the ring at least a couple more times, you know. And I know WWE has had their eye on Bully Ray's expiring contract, which will be coming up very, very shortly. And of course, Devon hasn't signed any contract with TNA, so they could be
The
going on to the
nice,
other
the
side.
nice, the nice aspect of that is that Bully Ray knows he's got an upper management position available once he's done
Mhm.
in the ring with Total Nonstop
Yeah,
Action Wrestling, and that's pretty lucrative. Now I
yeah,
know the WWE's the biggest game in town, but TNA's a pretty big game, and that's a damn lucrative opportunity for Bully Ray. So we'll see as time passes, and
absolutely,
you're right.
absolutely.
You were talking about the Hall of Fame. Let's look at it now. We have four inductees. All right. We have the winningest tag team of all time in wrestling history. We have wrestling's only amateur Olympic gold medalist in the TNA Hall of Fame. And we have the biggest icon in WCW in the TNA Hall of Fame. Now that's pretty good company, don't you think?
It's very good company.
So people can say what they want about the credibility of the TNA Hall of Fame, albeit being young. That's pretty good for starters,
There,
don't you think?
there's one guy I would love to see inducted, and I don't think it's ever going to happen, unfortunately, because he was TNA, and it's Jeff Jarrett.
Yep,
Jeff
I knew you
Jarrett
were going there. I
Jeff Jarrett built the company, but if there was a secondary guy, I have another guy in mind. And people may look at me like, what are you crazy? But you know what? He helped establish the TNA title, or the NWA title at the time. And you had brought him up as one of your top TNA champions. That would be Ken Shamrock. I think that'll be interesting to have maybe Ken Shamrock inducted into TNA Hall of Fame. There are a number of good TNA superstars that can be inducted, but Jeff Jarrett would be my top. Andre?
AJ Styles would be my top, obviously,
Oh, of
and Jeff
course.
Jarrett would be a very close second,
Hmm.
and he's still a stockholder within the company.
Yeah.
So it's not really an outlandish thought of it or possibility of it actually happening someday.
Yeah, I would love to see it. But anyway, let's quickly move on because we have a lot of pay-per-view to talk about. Now we're gonna jump into Kenny King versus Austin Aries, and really quickly, I want to point out one spot where I believe it was Kenny King who basically got flung, or was it Austin Aries who got thrown into the guardrail, and the guardrail basically collapsed into the front row. Very, very, very stiff spot. But why don't you talk about the match a little bit? Give us, if you can give us the finish, and we'll discuss the match.
I thought this was possibly or had could have been match of the night rolling in. It
Yeah.
was very, very close to match of the night. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Kenny King is on fire with his character,
Yes.
with his mic skills, with
Yes.
his presentation.
Yes.
And you can tell he hangs around a world heavyweight champion in a different sport just by his demeanor, just by his character and the way he's cutting his promos. Very, very similar to his homeboy. And that's all good because his homeboy's very, very colorful,
Yeah.
very, very charismatic. You know what I'm saying?
And who?
I'm
And
not going to drop names.
oh, you could drop names if
No,
you
I'm not
want.
dropping names,
All right,
but
we won't
I'm
drop
I'm
names.
happy with Kenny King's performance within TNA, even though I wanted Austin Aries to come away,
Yeah.
the TNA World Heavyweight Champion tonight, and that we'll see, we'll see,
We'll see what happens,
see.
but
But I did predict him to go off, to go over on Kenny King and advance into the triple cage match, and he did. So
well, I
just
mean,
happy with that.
well, Kenny King basically goes to the top rope. He was looking to do a big spot, but Austin Aries is actually able to stop him, reversing that big spot and hitting the brainbuster for the 1, 2, 3. Austin Aries goes over, so now Austin Aries is going into that three-way with Bobby Lashley to face Eric Young in that steel cage match for the TNA World Heavyweight title. Which again, this match I liked it a lot. I thought it was a very
And I
good
would have been
match.
fine with either or
Yeah, it didn't matter.
advancing.
Didn't
You do
matter.
see Floyd Mayweather. Yes, I will drop the name. You do see it within Kenny King's demeanor, and I like it.
But you know what? Also, Kenny King is getting a lot of that rub off of MVP. MVP, who I think is fantastic on the mic, extremely charismatic. He's been in the
Exceptional.
business. He's exceptional. He's been in the business for so many years, and I can see Kenny King not only getting stuff from Floyd, but also I think with the business aspect, getting a lot more from MVP. But anyway, I want to move on to possibly one of my favorite segments of the evening, which turned into a match. And I'm going to break this down really quickly because, you know, we're on time restraints here at OneWrestling.com. So basically, JB introduces the Von Erich family. That'll be Kevin and his two boys, and basically, I felt like this segment was more or less a showcase for the Von Erichs, and you know, Bromance came out, and it was actually Jesse and Zema Ion. They acted as the Bromance tonight, and you know, it turned into a match. Now, what was cool was the Bromance. I'm just gonna call them the Bromance. They sold and they bumped exceptionally well, and they made the Von Erichs look really, really good. And those kids actually showed me a lot during this match. I got some goosebumps. You want to say something?
I had the nostalgia bug
Hmm.
within me too. The Von Erich boys did look decent tonight.
Yeah.
There were a couple, I don't want to call it ring rust. Let's just call it stage fright for being
The
on a big
green,
stage. This
the
is
kids,
obviously their
right?
biggest stage that they've ever been on, and they did a good job here.
They got
Now, the chair coming into play was uncalled for, but this was gold, everybody. Yes, wrestling fans, we got Kevin Von Erich, the proud pop on Father's Day, avenging his sons that were getting attacked by a chair. With what? With what? The claw. And a nostalgia personified. The crowd was eating it up. I was eating it up. And yeah, I had the nostalgia bug, definitely. Now, hopefully, Ross and his brother can stay in TNA wrestling.
I, don't-
I think maybe it's a possibility.
I don't know which one it was. I don't know by name, but one of them looked, I thought, a little bit like David Von Erich. I don't know if I don't know, but anyway, it actually now you're gonna think I'm a cornball for this, but when I saw Kevin jump over that barricade and apply the claw, um, I didn't get excited. I actually
Oh,
got
really? I did.
no, no,
I
no, no.
did.
Listen, I got more than excited. I got emotional. Not that I cried or anything, but my eyes did well up a little bit. Well, you know what? All right, let me be honest with you. I got the goosebumps and I got emotional because I was a huge fan of the Von Erichs and the tragedy in that family. It was great to see Kevin, the sole survivor of the boys, with his boys on Father's Day, just doing that, man. And for me on a personal level, being the son of a former wrestler or whatever, and now I see my boy who's six. He's gonna be 6 years old, and he's already 4'3", and he's athletic, and he's got a lot of. He loves wrestling, and I'm not saying he'll ever follow in my father's footsteps, but it would be cool, and I could see how proud Kevin must have been of seeing his boys. So
On Father's Day too. That's
yeah,
just another level altogether.
say what you will about this segment. I thought it was excellent, and I thought it was
It
really
was
well done.
phenomenal. And even the way Jesse Goddard came out and cut his heel promo, generating the amount of heat that he had, that really, really impressed me. It
Yeah.
really, really did. Now, pertaining and relating to how the crowd felt about this, they were losing their
Oh,
damn
they
minds.
popped.
I said in my reaction video, Ray, that this was a beautiful thing. The next generation of Von
Oh
Erichs
man,
get to right some of the wrongs and get to turn some of that frown upside down, so to speak, in a positive way.
I gotta tell you, man. You have Lacey Von Erich out there. You have
I
you
wish
have
she
the
was going to
boys.
be there, bro. I so wished. And since she had ties to TNA, I thought it was like a hand in a glove fit. But
Well, you never know. And I hope the boys, even though it's probably one of the worst finishing moves of all time, I do hope they do use the claw. And I still wonder why they grab
as a
their
prelude,
forearm.
I'd be fine.
Why would they use why do they
What
hold their
was that?
forearms? No, they hold their forearms. I don't know what it does. But anyway,
For more leverage and
okay,
more showmanship, I
leverage. Okay,
guess.
I guess so. But all right, now we're gonna jump into the knockouts match between Angelina Love and Gail Kim, and it was it was interesting to say the least. Now it has to be a a referee by the name of
A
Stifler.
wrestler. That's half referee and half wrestler.
Yeah,
That's
no
if you're gonna
kidding.
have a kid, right?
No kidding. It's like Brad Maddox over there in the WWE. He's a wrestler, but or a wrestler GM. But
A manager slur.
yeah, no kidding. Now the referee Stifler,
Ryan Stifler,
Ryan
yeah.
Stifler, it had to be a Stifler to do something like what he did. Basically, Velvet Sky did not stop interfering in this match. She was a pain in the behind the entire match, and which led to Earl Hebner having to come down the ring and actually kind of grab her by the arm and try to throw her out of out of the ring. Now, I'm gonna give the finish real quick, and you tell me what you thought about this. Now, I guess this guy's falling in love because when Angelina was pinned by Gail Kim, he didn't count. But when Angelina rolled up, he sure did count to 1, 2, 3. Angelina Love rolling up Gail Kim and getting the win. What did you think about this?
Twice Gail had her rolled up. And I'll tell you something, that super kick that Angelina delivered to Gail Kim tonight was done a lot better than a lot of men within the industry
Yeah.
that I've witnessed myself. Either way tonight, I knew rolling in, Canada would win. Either way, so the best of the best, right? The TNA Knockouts champion, the lovely Angelina Love, and Gail Kim looked super pretty tonight. Super, super pretty.
Well, she's a
And
beautiful woman.
it didn't matter who. She's timeless.
She's eating well with her husband,
Well, she's probably healther than she's ever
Chef
been in her
Ramsay.
life.
No, not Chef Ramsay. Holy
Yeah,
cow.
not Chef Ramsay. Can
Not
you
Chef
imagine
Ramsay.
that?
It's I
You
forgot the
better
name.
win that blanking title.
What the hell's the name of her husband? I can't even remember. It doesn't matter.
Oh geez.
It's
Why
fine.
am I
I'm
blanking
sure
out?
somebody will leave a comment here below on YouTube or one
Oh, I
wrestling
know his
video.
name.
But it's fine. We'll figure it out. But I want to mention really quickly. And I don't know if we failed to mention, but in the prior match with the Von Erichs, they did get the win via DQ when the chair was brought in. So I just wanted to make sure we mentioned that the Von Erichs,
Nostalgia clouded our
they
minds.
did get the win. So I want to quickly move on because again we're running short on time. We have Bully Ray versus Ethan Carter, the third EC3 in a last man standing match. I'm gonna let you take this one away, Andre.
Now, TNA fans, wrestling fans worldwide, I saw this coming a mile away. I knew Ethan Carter was going to go over here, and I thought Dixie Carter was actually going to go through a table as the huge payoff for TNA Slammiversary, and we came this close to having it done, fans. But Rockstar Spud saved Madame Carter from the clutches of the broken wood. I'm sounding like Willow.
A little bit.
Saved Madam Carter from oblivion going through that table as Bully was propped, set, and in motion to leap off of that ring apron and
Yeah.
crash Dixie Carter through that table. But the good old kendo stick, yeah, shout out to Tommy Dreamer, came in to save the day as Ethan Carter laid him out with that kendo stick and he fell through the table. And like I said, Rockstar Spud just dragged her out of the way in time. And Dixie had some style going on
She
tonight. I
did.
love those
She did.
rattlesnake leather pants she was wearing.
Let me tell you something. I'm gonna break kayfabe really quickly. That's a spot that could have really been screwed up by Rockstar Spud and Dixie. It was really, really close. But Bully Ray going through the table, and again, Bully Ray doing what's better for the business or
Business.
whatever, best for business, whatever.
Better for business.
Better for business. So we'll
It's
call it
gotta
that
be
way.
different from the WWE where
All right,
people
so better
say
for
it's
business.
copying. So TNA, it's better for business.
But he did what's good for the company, and he actually puts over another young talent. Really, really, really. I thought it was a really good match. Again,
Me too.
Very
I thought it was match of the night, to be
again
honest with you.
match of the night, easily, very physical. And again, Andre, I love these physical man. If TNA could just focus, see their big boys, let them go all out, let them beat the hell out of each other, let them just throw some potatoes out there. If you don't know what a
Only at
potato
the
is,
specialty pay-per-views though, and the big pay-per-views though.
if you don't know what a potato is, it's an insider wrestling term for actually hitting the crap out of your opponent. But I love seeing it. Bully Ray lay some big potatoes down on this kid, man. This kid took it, man. So really, really
I
cool.
said in my reaction video that he was whooping EC3's
Oh,
butt all
goodness.
around the ring and everywhere, and that's
Yeah.
exactly what happened throughout the duration of this match until the end spot, which we brought to you guys right here on OneWrestling.com.
EC3 took it from a TNA Hall of Famer and a future, let's be honest, a future WWE Hall of Famer in Bully Ray. Now let's move on to the pre-main event. We have Cowboy James Storm, sorry about your damn luck, versus Mr. Anderson. Wait for it. Anderson. Anyway, so this was again a very, very interesting match.
Before you get in the match, Ray, I want to interject here.
Mhm.
The pre-promos that each man cut and shot
Perfect.
prior to this match were freaking gold, especially the Cowboy James Storm, as the Dallas Cowboys were situated around ringside. He said he was going to drink some beers with them, but didn't know if he had enough, and grabs this bag. And what was in the bag? Definitely not a bunch of beer. Now, he had one beer in his hand, and he dumped out a Dallas Cowboys player's helmet. And he proceeded to go to the bathroom with the bottle of beer on the Dallas Cowboys helmet. Didn't go over very well with the fans, and it didn't go over with the Cowboys. And we'll touch base on that near the end of the match. Take it away, my friend.
It went very well over with me because again, I am a Giants fan.
That was great.
But
I'm a
basically,
Tennessee Titans fan.
basically, the Dallas Cowboys ended up getting involved in the match where they basically distracted Mr. Storm during the match, and Mr. Storm ran into a mic check from Mr. Anderson, and Mr. Anderson actually got the 1, 2, 3, and at the end of the match, you had all the Dallas Cowboys jumping into the ring and celebrating, and it was really cool. They were doing their thing, hugging and celebrating, going over or having their boy Mr. Anderson going over James Storm, and James Storm was told a lesson today. But I don't think this feud is over, Andre.
Far from over, and wasn't the best match of the night, but it was a rock solid match. I thoroughly was entertained. It had some good storyline, some good prodding and propping towards the crowd to get them involved and keep them interactive. And like I said, they were interactive all night, Ray. So Dallas, Texas, you deserve credit. So you're getting it.
Well, now, Andre, I'm going to let you take this one away, but this is the main event of the evening for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, a three-way cage match between Eric Young, Austin Aries, and Bobby Lashley. Yes, guys, if you want to book me for a ring announcer, you can just give me a call. Just reach out to Bill after, because I'm going to be doing that more often down the road, but I'll fill you in later. But
or if you work for one of them type of dance clubs.
oh, I don't do that no more. But anyway, Andre, why don't you take away what happened, or take away? Why don't you fill us in on what happened during this TNA three-way cage match for the TNA World Heavyweight Title between again Eric Young, Austin Aries, and Bobby Lashley?
Well, I will take away from what happened within the match. And yes, the Canadian TNA World Heavyweight Champion, Eric Young, I totally didn't see retaining at this
Neither did
pay-per-view.
I.
Now, he's shooting for Animal Planet. He's got two shows, a third show if you're counting TNA Impact Wrestling on Thursday nights. So I kind of thought he was going to drop the title here, but that's not what happened. Austin Aries made it through. Bobby Lashley made it through. And this was another stiff match. Very, very close within contention of match of the night, especially when you take into account that spear that we were talking about earlier was so stiff that Bobby Lashley speared himself through the cage and out on the floor, eliminating himself for the rest of the match because this was a pinning or submission predicament cage match.
Old school NWA cage match.
You betcha, you betcha. And Eric Young has the best top rope elbow drop, or in this case, top of the cage elbow drop in wrestling, with all due respect to Phil Brooks and Magnus.
Absolutely. Well, listen, man, towards the end of the match, we had, I think Austin Aries attempted a brain buster, which was reversed by Eric Young, and he ended up putting Austin Aries into a pile driver.
Last chancery?
Yes, into that. Yes, into the, and he actually hits it for the finish, if I'm correct. He hits the pile driver for the finish, and I did not expect once Bobby Lashley was out of this match, I said to myself, wait a second. Austin Aries is going to be the TNA title, which I was really champion.
I thought it was going to happen, bro. I thought it was going to happen.
I was really excited about it. Now, again, I'm not going to sit here and bash Eric Young because Eric Young is a great wrestler. He does have a lot of charisma. He is a fighting champion, and this guy has done so much for TNA. I have to give him all the credit in the world. I love Eric Young. He's great.
I don't know why people sleep on this guy. This guy's doing high rope walks across Grand Canyons. He's an extreme adrenaline junkie.
I'll tell you why. Because he doesn't look like he's supposed to be world champion.
Did Eddie Guerrero look like a world champion? Did AJ Styles look like a world champion? Did Chris Benoit look like a world champion?
Rey Mysterio.
Did Rey Mysterio look like a world champion? Did Larry Zbyszko look like a world champion? I could go on and on and on. So,
but listen, I am a huge fan of Austin Aries.
Me too.
I honestly do. My opinion, I'm going to leave you with this. My opinion on Austin Aries is I believe Austin Aries should be given another chance and should hold that title and help. I think he'll help TNA down the long run. But the man who I want to really be TNA World Heavyweight Champion, who we haven't seen in quite some time, is my boy, TNA's best in the world, Bobby Roode, and probably one of the best wrestlers in the business today.
Would you concur?
I can top 3, maybe top 5, but I would have to go
because he's off the chain.
Oh my gosh! You know what? For the Canadian Wrestling Show, maybe we should do the top 5 best in the world today.
Ooh, very interesting.
Ladies and gentlemen, speaking of
I got the blood flowing in my veins, brother, as I reach for the sky, and Hulkamania's running wild, dude. So yeah, that sounds great, brother.
Speaking about the Canadian Wrestling Show, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, me and Andre have a great show. We have great guests, and we have a great segment called the Top 5. We do our top 5 and our top 5 anything, and you can find us if you subscribe to Andre. Just search Andre Corbeil on YouTube. You can also follow him on Twitter at Andre_Corbeil, and don't forget to follow us at Wrestling News Talk on Facebook, and of course follow me on Twitter at Big Ray Show. Don't forget to follow One Wrestling at One Wrestling, OneWrestling.com, or One Wrestling Video on YouTube. Andre, you have anything to add, my friend?
You can follow Big Ray and I both as a whole at Can-Am Wrestling on Twitter as well.
Yeah,
and follow After One Wrestling, the legend, the man right here, Bill Apter.
Bill Apter. Andre, why don't you tell the fans why we do this?
We do this because we're knowledgeable, we're passionate wrestling fans. We know that each and every one of you guys that support the social media networks are knowledgeable, passionate wrestling fans too. And that's where the fire, that's where the passion, and that's where the desire all stems from Big Ray, from Andre Corbeil, from Andre Corbeil's social media, from One Wrestling Video, OneWrestling.com, at One Wrestling on Twitter. So yeah, support. Thank you guys for supporting, and you guys keep us alive and well.
Live and well.
Kicking.
Ladies and gentlemen, I say this every single time. I would do this for a living, but if I can't, I would do it anyway. Why? Because I love talking wrestling. And Andre, we all are in this for one thing. And what's that, my friend?
Love, peace, and happiness.
And
And
also-
OneWrestling.com.
And also wrestling, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in here at OneWrestling.com. Again, don't forget to check out me and Andre Corbeil on the Can-Am Wrestling Show. And it is every Saturday night, 8 p.m.
Eastern Standard
Follow
Time.
us on Twitter, because we do some in-between shows. We had a great roundtable with our boy Robin Kimball. You can follow him at Andre.
Rob Kimball Brand.
And don't
or
forget-
Rob Kimball Brand on YouTube. And if you're going to check that show out, the younger fans, there's a parental advisory on that.
A little bit. And don't forget to follow some of our other friends that really support us, of course, like Bill Schuyler.
Bill Schuyler.
The Big Show. And I'm going to give a big shout out to my little homeboy from down under, Hardy. That's WWE Reviews.
Five. He's even doing it more so now that we put him up for it.
Hardy, we love you guys. I love you so much. Thank you for tuning in to TNA Slammiversary's recap here at OneWrestling.com. Go ahead.
Special shout out to British Wrestling Radio, BWR.
Oh, yes.
For really picking me up in a downtime a couple days ago when I had lost my phone and all of my contacts. So I thank you, and I thank you guys, all of you wrestling fans that support us and make us passionate about this and make us feel better at the end of the day. Give me a Barry Horowitz.
I'll give you a Barry Horowitz. And to all you fathers out there, and you guys that actually work hard and are there for your children, I'm going to wish you a belated Happy Father's Day. Thank you so much, and we'll see you at the matches.
At the matches.
Peace.
Happy anniversary, TNA, and many more to come.